Hi there. Welcome to another episode of the Divine Design Podcast. I'm your host, Krissy Morellis. Today, we're going to be talking about the 12 steps. Now, I'm going to let you know that the 12 steps have changed my life. Now, this is something that is a tool that is used in recovery for recovering drug addicts or alcoholics. So this is a tool that was created by two people back in the 1930s that kind of talked about connecting with a higher power in order to change your life. So the 12-step program is an international mutual aid program supporting recovery for substance addictions, behavioral addictions, and compulsions. Like I said, it was developed in the 1930s. The first 12-step program, AA, or Alcoholics Anonymous, aided its membership to overcome alcoholism. And what's interesting is I believe the two gentlemen that founded this were alcoholics themselves and were looking for a way to, abolish or to change their lives. And since then, many other organizations have used the 12-step program to help people. As summarized, and I want to read this, I'm going to have to go a little bit to my phone, but as summarized by the American Psychological Association, the process involves the following: admitting that one cannot control one alcoholism, addiction, or compulsion, coming to believe in a higher power that can give strength, examining past errors with the help of a sponsor, and that needs to be an experienced member, making amends for these errors, learning to live a new life with a new code of behavior, and helping others who suffer from the same alcoholism, addictions, or compulsions. Now, the reason I'm talking about this is a tool that I've used and am continually use to change myself. So I think that the 12 steps should be implemented almost mainstream. Like, this is just not a tool that is for drug addicts or alcoholics. This is a tool to actually change your lives. And not only that, it's to actually figure out your hurts, hang-ups, and habits. Because you just know, as you walk through your life, as you were a little child, you've been hurt many ways. And based on that hurt, what you do is you actually start reacting or responding a certain way. And maybe every time that hurt happens, you may not know this, but you react the same way again and again and again and again. And really what's happening is, through your life, the trauma that you experience, the trials and tribulations or whatnot, if you are not responding correctly, you never change your cycle of healing or changing your way and responding appropriately so that you can live your healthiest, best life. So once again, you know some of my story, or you're going to learn throughout these episodes and podcasts my story. When I went to go look for that grief group, the first place that I ended was Recovery Road in Red Oak. And Lorianne, who's in the real estate industry, is the person that brought me there. And she's a good friend, love her to death. Hi, Lorianne. When we got to grief group, I started learning and talking to, because it's Recovery Road, some of the people that were attending, and learned more about Recovery Road and started attending Recovery Road because of Lorianne and Tim. So what I did was actually sit there for maybe about 12 months. And I listened to what they did, and I participated in their meeting and would listen to the 12 steps and would go into small group, and I would share in small group, and didn't really see necessarily the significance or why I needed the 12 steps. So I would sit there and I would listen all these every Friday night at 6:30. It was kind of like, okay, this is not for me. I'm not a recovering drug addict, and I'm not a recovering alcoholic. So I would listen. I loved what they were teaching, but I just felt like it wasn't for me. And it wasn't until sitting in there a couple of times that I really started to notice, whoa, wait a minute. This isn't just about alcoholism and drug addicts and drugs. This is about everyday living. This is about dealing with the things inside of you that, meaning your hurts. And, I could sit there and say, well, I'm addicted. I really am addicted. I'm addicted to work. I'm addicted to, things. I mean, people are addicted to overeating, to going in debt, to sex, pornography, whatever your vice may be. And we all got vices. We're not perfect. But whatever that may be, that the 12 steps would help me, enable me to actually find out what those things are internally in me, to dig down deeply, and then to actually put these out on paper, to do things about it, to pray, meditate, journal, to go to a higher power, and honestly, through this interaction, that the higher power would actually change my life. And what's amazing is it works, guys. It works. My connection with God is amazing. I never expected to experience what I'm experiencing. And it's amazing. And that's why this podcast is created. And this is why I feel like I need to shout this out off the rooftops to help people live their best lives. Because it's completely changing mine, and I never expected that. And probably the biggest changer that I see the 12 steps do is allows you to recognize and remove self-centeredness and to live a more joyous and meaningful life. So I actually am going to read the 12 steps to you. And then we're going to talk about how these things have actually, changed my life. But I want you to know what the 12 steps are. Here are the 12 steps. Number 1, we admitted we were powerless over alcohol, that our lives had become unmanageable. Man, replace that with whatever you want to. We admitted we were powerless over our compulsions. We admitted we were powerless over pornography. We admitted we were powerless over spending. We admitted we were powerless over working too much. We admitted we were powerless over fill in the blank, whatever that is for you. And it could be other things, stinking thinking, negative thinking. You need to think about that, but we all have addictions, compulsions, and vices. Number 2, came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. Number 3, made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood Him. 4, made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. 5, admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. Number 6, we're entirely ready to have God remove all of these defects of character. Number 7, humbly had asked Him to remove our shortcomings. Number 8, made a list of all persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all. Number 9, made direct amends to such people whenever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. Number 10, continue to take personal inventory, and when we were wrong, promptly admitted it. Number 11, sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood Him, praying only for knowledge of His will for us and the power to carry that out. Number 12, having had a spiritual awakening as the results of these steps, we tried to carry this message to alcoholics and to practice these principles in all our affairs. So basically just continuing to carry and spread the message to people to help them. Okay, so I'm going to tell you my experience with the 12 steps. So what happens is you actually have a sponsor in doing this, usually somebody who has, gone through the 12 steps so that they can help you and guide you. And that way you have an understanding, you can understand more about this process. So my sponsor is beautiful soul girl, love her. And she has helped me to, get through the grueling part of the 12 steps that, some of it, honestly, guys, I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to go through it because you got to get raw and real with yourself. You've got to go down to, you've got to pull things out that you can remember and what's wild about it is as you continue to go through this process, it's like God lets you, scratch the surface. And as you continue to roll, you continue to scratch, go deeper and deeper and deeper. So what I find traveling through the 12 steps is I would, Heather, it's Heather. All right. Hi, Heather. Heather would give me these worksheets and go, all right, who has harmed you in my life? Who has hurt you? And I literally had to write all these people down. Now, I never expected that she would tell me to contact these people. But all in all, it's a process. The process is so freeing. If you want to live a true, free life, like I said, I never expected for this to happen. But this is a tool that you can use. And I'm like, please, I pray to God. And I hope that you at least look at them. Reach out to me in the comments. If you are interested in something of this nature, please reach out to me and let me help you at least to connect you with somebody. Or maybe I'm doing it. Maybe I start helping people with the 12 steps. I'd be more than happy to do that and to share with you my experience. But it's a process. But what it's doing is bringing me down to my authentic, true self, that I truly think about God first. I think about Him first before everything else. I go to Him now. And through the process of prayer, meditating, and journaling, man, powerful stuff, guys. My journey with it, oh man, I don't even know how to honestly explain this. The process of God actually removing your character defects, the process of you actually changing, and what actually happens, your higher power, God, does all the work. Yes, you do the work. You got to list the things. You got to be honest. You do the work. What happens is just unbelievable. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to I'm going to interview some people that have walked through the 12 steps and how it has almost miraculously changed their lives so that they can share their story as well. What I'm saying is, guys, this is just not for recovery. This is a lifestyle, I believe, and this is a way, honestly, I believe this is the way that you're to live your life. True, authentic self, loving yourself, being able to love others. If you can't love yourself, you can't love others. To love others and then be able to share this with them as your transformation, how you've done that, give back. I truly think that's all that God wants for us. It just is amazing, the 12-step process. And the people who have actually done this, I actually started going and YouTubing, the 12 steps. And, people are sharing their story about it. This is some powerful stuff. But if you want to change your life, and what's funny is I don't really think that people realize how crappy their life truly is. Maybe they do realize that. But I'm going to tell you, like before, I thought that I lived a great life. I thought that I was living my best life. Man, I wasn't living. That's what I'm learning, is there's a better way to live. This tool and these 12 steps have helped me, to do that. But like I said, guys, it was a process. It was at times very grueling because you've got to, like I said, dig deep inside. But what I noticed is as the layers would kind of open, God would reveal something else to me that I'm like, oh, wait a minute. And I thought it was interesting, things that I've buried deep down inside of myself that I haven't thought of in decades. And all of a sudden a light would, like just that thought would come, and I'm like, oh my God. It's almost like God reveals when He's ready for you to go to the next step, to be able to deal with that trauma or hurt or whatever that may be, so that you can pray, meditate, journal on it, make amends with it, accept, and be able to have God remove that character defect if He's to remove it. There could be a reason why it's there, because it's for the good of you. But regardless, I don't know what the things are, because I noticed that I'm not removing them. He is. I am praying for him to remove all my character defects and to give me the wisdom to know what they are so that I can, travel through and be able to seamlessly go through this process. But I'm going to tell you, sometimes you get stuck in that process too, where some of it was extremely painful. I really did not want to go back to that. But man, back to those feelings, back to that hurt, back to whatever that is now. Let me let you know, though, in the process, after I'd listed all the folks that had hurt me in my life profoundly, at least at that point in time when I was doing this exercise, like I said, God reveals more so that you continually do this. But then my sponsor was like, all right, now you need to go and contact all these people. I'm like, what? Whoa, wait a minute, not doing that, But it was unbelievable when I contacted these people and came from a place of, you know what? I apologize for the things that I've done. Now remember, they hurt me and I'm apologizing. But I'm apologizing to try to clean up my side of the street so that I can live victoriously and righteously without all that baggage. God does not want us to live with a bunch of baggage. He doesn't want us to live, we all live with a huge backpack on our backs. And that's all that BS, all the BS back there. He wants you to take that off, drop that on the ground and give it to him. And this tool actually allows you to do that, feel good about that, to be able to have him work in your life. What I'm encountering and experiencing in my life now is amazing. Like I said, throughout this podcast, you're going to hear more and more and more. But if I am paying attention, I've had a spiritual awakening and I'm aware. And I see God work in my life every day. It is good against evil. I've said that before in a previous podcast. It is no BS. It is the truth. And what I see is God and the devil working each day. And I can recognize that. I wouldn't probably recognize that in the past. Well, I didn't for 48 and a half years. Please, I would say reach out to me if you're interested in living your best life and you're open-minded to going through a process, to just be open-minded enough to say, you know what, I'm going to give this a shot and let's see if it does change your life. I'm sure there's plenty of things that we could do. People want to change their lives and they don't, and they get stuck. And I wish there was a pill that we could take that would allow us to do that. But it's not. And you got to do the work and you got to want it. That's really what I have to say about the 12 steps. It is a process. It is something that you do with somebody who has gone through this process before so they can guide you and lead you. It is somebody you have to be accountable to. It is somebody that you're going to share some of your darkest secrets with. But it's amazing. And in the end, what I find is it is creating meaningful relationships with my sponsor. I love her to death. I care about her a lot. I want the best for her in her life. And you know what? I know that she honestly wants the best for me as well. And so just that relationship that has been formed and honestly that fellowship is unbelievable. I mean, this is a girl that we cry together, we laugh together, we love together. She's love and light. This is what is created through the 12 steps. If anybody that's watching has actually gone through the 12 steps, please comment below. Please share your comments. Please share that you have done it and what it's done for you. And if it's something that's negative, please share that as well. Like, I would like to know. But really, that's what I have to say about this is I invite you and I advocate, please reach out to me in regards to the 12 steps. I can hook you up with people to help you go through that process if you want to change your life. It is unbelievable. If you know me, you know that I'm a person that's extremely positive, that I'm a giver, that I have a real estate team, that I'm an influencer when it comes down to real estate. Walking these steps, God telling me to do divine design, me journaling and him saying, here's what you're going to do. And I'm like, are you crazy? I don't know anything about this, Lord. I don't know your word. I don't even know all of your word. I haven't even read all of the Bible. And he's like, no, this is what you're to do. And I felt like I needed to be obedient to him. And the fact that I've been obedient, what he's already done with this podcast and the people that come up to me and what has already been said, that's God. Because it ain't me. It's definitely not me. I have no clue what I'm doing here. Look, we're going to figure this out as we continue to roll through these, podcasts. We're going to start interviewing some amazing people. We had Julie Lawn talking about her book, Killing Suicide, how God has basically told her that she needs to bust out a ministry in regards to this, and that's getting ready to happen. I think she was moved enough to say, you know what? I'm going to do a podcast now because that's the way that I know that I can reach more and more people in regards to the subject to try to eradicate suicide. Man, if I have any type of, it's not me, it's really not me, but if I was able to have Julie come in here and Julie thinks that now, praise God. That's awesome. That's awesome. We're going to interview Jennifer Salzman with the Heights. She's getting ready to come on board. We're going to interview a doctor. We're going to interview some interesting people. And in the end, this may be a controversial podcast. I have no clue. But look, I'm letting God lead me. This is God's podcast. He's telling me what to do through my praying, meditating, and journaling. And I am going to tell you this. You got to get silent enough by prayer, meditation, and journaling through the 12 steps, which has taught me to do that. We'll talk about that on one of the next episodes, to get still and to hear him and to know it's him. But he talks to me. He talks to me through people, just the interactions that I have. I'm at Walmart right before Christmas at like 9:30 at night. I'm in the ice cream aisle. There's a lady in the ice cream aisle. She's dressed very nicely. Just happened to talk to her. Just, hey, what's up with the store, man? Walks out, she's growing so much, and that's why the shelves are so empty. Is it distribution? Is it shipping? Is it because it's going to get super cold? She turns to me. She talks to me for a second. She turns her little buggy around and comes back to me and says, Mom, I want to let you know that Jesus told me to tell you blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, what? These are the interactions that I have. And it's amazing. You know, that story about the backpack? I was told that years and years ago. Steve and I met a person that we believe he was a warrior for God, man, and we believe he was a prophet. And he had told me the story at one point in time about the backpack, that God didn't want us to carry those big backpacks. And I know that now. I listened to the man. I'm like, all right. Thought about it, left it there. This is, me through my process with God. It's different now. And now I can go back and look at other conversations and other things that God has always been in my life. And I've strayed back and forth. I'm going to let you know, before my mom died, that she gave me a hug. That hug, I was 21 years old. That hug was a supernatural hug. I've never experienced or felt the warmth, the love, everything that was coming from her in that hug. It was so supernatural, guys, that it scared the heck out of me. It scared me to my core, to the point that I told my mom, I gotta go. Didn't tell her what was going on. Went downstairs, 2-story house, went and sat in my car in the front of her house for an hour and bawled. I don't think she knew that. She never knew my story. She never got to hear that because she died 2 weeks later. And I really do believe that God prepared me for her death. That's another podcast. But regardless, look, that is real. I know what I experienced. And it just shows me that God has been with me all along. The 12 steps has enabled me to have a stronger connection, almost like a channel to him through that process, and more so through journaling, praying, and meditating. So we will talk about that. The next single podcast with just me, we're going to talk about the power of prayer, meditation, and journaling. Guys, if you're interested in learning more about the 12 steps, please comment below or contact me. I'd be more than happy, to help you through that process, to connect you with the right people, or maybe it's me. I don't know. But all in all, that's what it's about today, is the 12 steps. So if you like the content that you're hearing, please please comment, please subscribe to this channel. And if you'd like to hear about things that maybe I have not chatted about, ping in the comments as well. And we'll see if we can't make an episode about what you'd like to hear about as well. So, all right, guys, until next time, I'm super excited because the next time we're going to be interviewing Jennifer Salzman with The Heights, who's with The Heights, and to hear her powerful story and what they're getting ready to do in Ellis County. Man, God is working. So we'll leave you with this: peace, love, respect, Jesus. All right, guys, until next time.